Start. And we can stay muted while people are, when you're not talking, sorry. Hi, everyone. Welcome. We're just going to let the attendees roll in for about a minute or two, and then we will get started. Okay. Well, welcome everyone. We're so excited to be spending time with you today. I think this is probably one of the more fun topics that we're talking about, which is building your professional wardrobe. And we just wanted to talk to you guys about, it's not as serious as it used to be. It's something you can have fun with. We really want this to be an interactive presentation, so feel free to use the chat box in Q&A to share your thoughts and feelings. If there's any products we share that you love, tell us. And I am going to start out with a quick poll because we want to get a sense of how you guys feel about your wardrobe thus far. So how confident do you feel about your current professional wardrobe? Amazing, feeling okay, or help. I have no idea where to start. I think all of us have been there at one point in our lives. Okay, awesome. Okay, closing the poll. We had almost everyone vote. So biggest result is that 42% of you guys are feeling okay, but you need some work. That's perfect. I think having a base and a foundation is awesome, but we're here to share with you guys just ways to elevate your looks. Awesome to hear that 10 of you already feel amazing. I can't wait to hear what you wear. We would love to hear kind of some of the items that make you feel most confident. And those 4 of you who have no idea where to start, we will also have that covered for you. So I also, to just get us started, I would love to get a sense of what the group is interested in learning today. And kind of what wardrobe questions you have off the bat, so we can kind of craft the presentation to make sure we're answering those things that are most relevant to you. So feel free to use the Q&A if there are any. It doesn't have to be a question, it could just be a comment as well. No need to be shy. No one? Oh, we have one. What kind of silhouettes to look for your body type? That's great. How can we dress trendy, still look professional? We'll talk about that. Would love to see how you incorporate colors into business clothing. Another great question. Building with basics and making them your own. How to work with clothes you already have, also a really great question. How to dress in a business professional setting if you don't have a suit. Good one as well. Okay, we'll talk, many of these will cover the difference between business casual and professional and when to wear each one. Okay, I think we have a good, you guys are awesome. So many questions. Okay, so we'll get started and we can kind of go through these as we go through the presentation. And I will have our lovely panelists introduce themselves.
Hi there, Megan. I'll go first. My name is Kirk Peslin. I'm a senior director of merchandising at Banana Republic. I've been at the company for a long time. I started in the stores and I went to UW-Madison and got my degree in marketing and ultimately ended up in merchandising at the company. And I've been here for 15 years. So it's been a good long run. I've learned a lot. I lead the men's team over here, and then Megan on the other side leads the women's team. I wanted to share a fun fact with you, but as far as my philosophy on how to show up authentically in your the outfits that you choose for interviews and at work is just to be as confident as you can. So select the clothes and the colors and the fits that make you feel comfortable, but also confident. So without giving too much away, that is where I wanted to start, and great to see you all.
Hi everyone, I'm Megan. As Kirk said, I'm merchandising director on the women's team at Banana Republic. I also started actually working in Banana Republic stores, and then I've kind of jumped around Gap Inc. I worked at Old Navy for a while, so I've been with the company for just over 10 years and have been at Banana Republic for the last 3. And then just in case any of you don't know what merchandising is, we're essentially, it's similar to buying, but we have an in-house design team. So we work with our designers on kind of product development as well as planning buys and how much goes to the stores and kind of have our hands in everything that comes into play with getting product to stores. I think my fun fact I was going to share is that my must-have piece for kind of a great professional wardrobe actually is a great blazer, which I love as a piece that you can dress down with jeans. You can throw it on as like a third piece over a dress, or even hook it up to be a suit. But I think there's a lot of cool innovation in blazers also now today that doesn't have to be as stuffy as they used to be, which we'll get into more when we get into how to dress for different environments.
Thank you both. And I'll just share my learning on interview outfits. I've also been at Gap for a really long time. I think all of us are kind of Gap lifers, so I can say I haven't done that much external interviewing, but I do feel like this is kind of a great rule of thumb in fashion, is just never underestimate the power of great fit. And when in doubt, if the item doesn't fit right from off the rack, which can tend to happen, you know, tailoring is always a great option. If you invest in a few pieces and tailor them right, it can really just add that extra great look to your outfit. Okay, I'm gonna walk you guys through the agenda for what we're gonna cover today. So I think first we'll talk about, you know, what are these dress occasions that you have? Historically, they've been called dress codes, but I think we wanted to kind of reframe it because I think in this day and age, there's more open-mindedness about what you wear in different occasions. And I think we've also seen the workplace move to be more casual. So we'll kind of debunk some of the confusing terminology, break it down for what you can actually wear for these types of events, and also show you how to make it your own. Number 2, we'll walk you through how to build your professional wardrobe. So we've created some sample wardrobes for you. We'll talk about how to add your own flair. And then we'll showcase some outfits and ways to mix and match. I think one of the best foundations is to get a wardrobe that actually can flex into different dress occasions. So you can flex up to a more professional event and flex down to something that's more casual. and show you guys how to apply it to real life. And then we would love to pass along these products to you if you're interested in purchasing any of them. Yeah, so we will start out with professional dressing debunked. What does this mean? So I wanted you guys to take a moment and just reflect on an outfit that you have worn, a time that you put on an outfit. It doesn't have to be an interview outfit, but reflect on a time when you put on an outfit and felt your best. And just think about it. What colors were you wearing? What outfit were you wearing? What silhouettes? And I think this is a good way to kind of start to think about how you can show up best professionally. So let everyone take a moment, think about what it was.
And I was going to say something that's helpful for me when we talk about when you're feeling your best is actually think of the opposite almost, and think about when you feel not your best. So if you put something on, feels, not like you, not like your personality, too stuffy, too uncomfortable, like think of those things too, and it can help you corner what does make you feel good.
Okay, I would love, I can share mine, and then I'd love if the panelists share theirs. And if you guys want to blow up the chat and just share what makes you feel best, again, doesn't have to be professional. It's really just about what makes you feel comfortable. So I know that I feel best when I'm not in something that is super constricting. Like comfort. So for me, that means like pairing kind of a slouchier sweater with a like nicer skirt, or just silhouettes that have movement. So if I want to show up well, I usually want not to be constricting, not to be super tight, but to have a little bit of movement. So that's where I know I feel most best. And then I also feel best when I have some sort of statement piece. So I know if I want to feel truly dressed up and truly good, I need to either have like a statement lip, a statement earring, statement purse, or some sort of piece that like makes me feel like a little bit fun and not like risque, but like something that like adds a fun element to it. What about you guys?
I think mine is probably, I feel best when I'm in like a great pair of pants that fits really well. I think actually sometimes for presentations, like I'm almost opposite of you, Catherine. Like in a dress, I can feel a little too like casual. And so I need to feel more pulled together with a good pair of pants. And then similarly, like a nice statement piece that you feel is unique to you also, and can kind of helps you feel like you're standing out, you're going to be a little bit more memorable. And also like you have your personality showing through on the outside.
And then I can jump in and chat about how and when I feel like the most confident or persuasive. When we have high-powered meetings at work, I generally reach for, truthfully, sweaters, even if it's hot out. But it's all about a yarn or a material or a fabric. If something, looks really soft or is a really interesting texture, I find that you just feel a little bit luxe, even if it's just a stitch. And then that gives me a little bit of confidence. And I have to say, I do, experiment with color. Especially in the men's world, it's definitely one of the outlets for us to express ourselves a little bit more freely. But I do like to feel a little bit more optimistic in what I'm wearing than the average guy. So I love saturated and optimistic colors, especially, during this year. So I love to lift the room a little bit, even if it's just the color of my sweater.
I feel like there's someone in this group for everyone, because I've heard bright colors, pastel colors, fun earrings. Definitely can resonate with all that. Some people like looser, but then others have said tailored, matching jewelry, polo, trendy slim fit pants, and some street style sneakers. I love that. I feel like maybe you already know what you want to do. So I think there's a mix. Clothes that aren't too tight but show my figure. We have a shirt dress in there. We'll talk about shirt dresses in a bit. So high-waisted pants, awesome. Thanks everyone for sharing. And then I also wanted to just reflect on the fact that professional, like thinking about what professional means. So professional doesn't mean that there's, crazy boundaries. It's professional is accessible to everyone. It should make you feel empowered, excited to get dressed, and confident. We're going to give you some like guidelines, but there doesn't need to be rules. I think we're, especially at Gap, we're in a kind of a culture where you can show your own personal style and, make it really fun, and show your own personality. So with that, we will move into talking about what are these professional dress codes and what do they mean?
Okay, so I'll take this away. And something to keep in mind is we're working at Gap and at Banana Republic, so we do skew a little bit more on the business casual side of things. But we do play in kind of all of these codes or occasions, but we are definitely on the casual side of the spectrum at this company. So what we've listed out here are kind of the three main occasions that you'll find out, in the world, the biggest three. There's smart casual, business casual, and then business professional. And I think, with the current state of things, we're all trying to figure out new ways to incorporate these into our lives. And it's definitely causing us all to skew a little bit more towards the casual side. But that doesn't mean that casual doesn't mean unkempt or sloppy or too comfortable or athletic. It means just you're comfortable and confident. So I wanted to call that out. In the world of Banana Republic, we live very much so in business casual land. And every now and then we dip up into the professional side of things. And then, a lot of the time it's smart casual, which is sort of, almost more of an everyday kind of vibe. So I'm going to kind of scoot into that first bucket, which is the smart casual bucket. That might be kind of the most versatile of the three. It's almost sort of what you might wear outside of work too. It's just that one little extra stylish twist that you might put on an everyday outfit. It could, and sometimes should, incorporate more of a trend piece. So we're showing here white sneakers with a white rolled denim, as long as it's, clean and tailored and put together. We have a fun kind of indigo printed shirt under the blazer there. So those signal trend and personality. I think, this is definitely how you should dress if the company you're at or interviewing at has more of a flexible kind of vibe. This is maybe the one that shows the most personality, if you like. And I think, again, just to circle back to the current state of affairs, in the world of Zoom, and right now even, a pro tip would be some of the things that we mentioned already. In smart casual, you can play with a couple more accessories than you might otherwise. So you feel free to incorporate scarves or fun earrings or more bold color here. Not that you wouldn't in the other looks, but just generally you can have more color here. And I think there aren't that many requirements, to be honest. I think the thing about smart casual versus overt casual is that little extra thought that you put into the look itself. So that would be something like, I mentioned the shoes in this first look, but smart casual is having your clean shoes, making sure they look, put together, and not scuffed up and dirty or anything like that. We're talking about steering clear of overtly athletic clothing. In this world here, a casual look would absolutely incorporate potentially some type of jogger or terry or super comfy fabric like that. But I think for smart casual, you would definitely want to stick towards denim, a dark denim or a solid. And I do think the thing that makes it look like you've thought through something a little bit more is how you kind of add layers on. So I think basically having these casual denim, cuff denim with sneaks, that's totally fine. But adding on like a really nice, like maybe your best bag if you're going to an interview, or again, like a blazer here. But I think like I think like clean and crisp and like, and a little bit of trend. And then like mixing that high-low is where my head goes for this type of look. And I saw comments coming through, like, couldn't read them all fast enough. So Catherine, let me know if there's anything to address there.
Yeah, someone did ask about occasions, and I can just touch on a few for college. You should always ask the dress code if you're at all unclear of what the corporate culture is. At Gap for an interview, smart casual or business casual are actually fine. Business professional is not necessary, but this is a great wardrobe for a coffee chat. This is great for a networking event because you might be coming from class. So wearing a suit to class all day is kind of a lot. You know, even a career fair, I think smart casual could work for. I think it depends kind of how you play with the different pieces. But I think smart casual is really versatile and allows you to kind of pair items you already have, which someone asked, with some more professional pieces. So maybe if you don't have the budget right now to buy all of the pieces, it's like get a great blazer, which can layer on to a pair of denim you have and a sweater, or if you have a blouse, you know, adding, you know, some nicer shoes. So just this one is probably the easiest to start to layer on with items you already have. And those are just some occasions that you could wear this for. And I see there are some questions coming up. I think we can move some of these to the end. I think you guys are asking really great questions. I guess in this section, we could say how daring is too daring in the office. Example, are women's suits with professional looking shorts okay in the summer? Are you allowed to show your shoulders? I'll let you guys touch on that.
I think that also is going to depend on your office environment. I mean, for example, in our office, if someone was wearing a tailored blazer and shorts, we would love it. We wouldn't think twice. I would recommend before you make those choices, kind of being in the office environment for a little bit and just getting a vibe for how other people are dressing. And that'll help indicate kind of the direction that you go. If it is a one-time event and you're really unsure, I would probably say not to go for that. But again, it can definitely depend on the environment you're in.
Yeah, I mean, I think you answered that perfectly. On the men's side, like, I think one thing that I was taught early on is kind of like, at least get a pulse, like a read on your boss or the job that you like would have next, and kind of like take a cue from that. Because I think it sets you up to start to feel and act like that, you know, if you're kind of like channeling that angle and vibe. So that's something that I took to heart, you know, as a young, coming into the company at Gap.
Thanks, guys. Okay, we'll move on to the next occasion.
Okay, so business casual. This is kind of your in-between tier of dressing. I think pre-COVID, it was probably the most common form of dress in most offices. And I would also say when you're unsure, this is probably the safest bet because you're gonna look polished and put together without skewing potentially too formal. And you'll definitely feel comfortable in this range. So business casual is a pretty big range, but essentially you're mixing kind of classic business staple pieces like a trouser or a blazer or a great white shirt with some more casual elements to kind of make it feel a little bit less tailored and more casual. So you'll see in some of the photos, like the first woman is wearing, you know, a really cute puff sleeve, kind of more casual sweater with tailored pants. The man in the middle is a blazer, but it's like a casual item blazer back to a tee and jeans. So you can kind of mix and match this as fitting based on the pieces that you have. And then kind of big requirements within business casual. I think jeans are definitely appropriate here, but I would skew more towards a mid to dark wash jean. I think a light jean or a destructed jean would feel a little bit too casual. And then in terms of leg shape, I think you can honestly do any kind of leg shape. Again, like from wide leg back to skinny jeans really works in here. And then kind of pairing that back to more polished pieces like a sweater, a nice blouse, or item blazers. Skirts and dresses also super completely appropriate in business casual. I know I saw a question about you know, how do you make sure that you're wearing kind of the right length of skirts or dresses? If you are tall, I would recommend shopping somewhere that does offer taller sizes. I think is probably the best bet, or going with longer length skirts. Luckily right now, you know, midi and below the knee lengths are very trend right, which are totally office appropriate. Banana Republic also offers tall and everything online, so you can always get it there. And then footwear in business casual, I think here you would probably want to avoid sneakers for the most part, unless they are, you know, a leather, like more dressy sneaker, but go towards either flats or loafers or even potentially a heel, as long as it's comfortable and something you'd want to be in all day. And then definitely layering on accessories. I think, you know, the photos that we're showing you guys are very kind of baseline pieces, and then you would layer your accessories on top of this to show a little bit more of your personality.
Thanks, Megan. And occasions for this, I would say this is actually, like we kicked off with, covers the most wide range of occasions. Many interviews these days will sit in the wheelhouse of business casual. I think, like, if you're not sure, just ask, do I need to wear a suit? Because that's kind of the differentiator. Business casual really spans everything outside of wearing a full suit or parts of a suit. And this is the one, again, we're showing kind of basic looks, but we'll talk through how you can kind of make them your own later in the presentation. The other thing, someone asked about accessories, and I feel like this is maybe a good time to talk about it. Are there any you should stay away from while interviewing? I would say anything that's going to distract from you. So big earrings are okay, a big necklace is okay, but like if they're so big that they're like heavy on your ears or distracting from your ability to talk, like I would say like there is jewelry that can kind of inhibit. So that's my rule of thumb, is just if it's distracting away from you, probably not the best.
And anything that like would be making noise, like if you had a ton of bangles or something that would be making noise while you talk, that can be distracting. But
totally agree. And then does it matter if sandals are closed-toed or open? I'm a big fan of mules these days. I don't know if I'll let the merchants tell me if they're on their way out, but I feel like a mule is like a perfect like way to still feel like you're wearing a sandal, but not. But what are your guys' thoughts on like open-toed sandals in interviews? I'm not quite so sure about that.
Yeah, I think either one can work, again, depending on what environment you're in. I think a heeled sandal open toe is probably more acceptable than a flat, just since a flat can skew a little bit casual. So again, if you're in doubt, I would probably not do an open toe. But if you do, again, like make sure, you know, pedicure, everything's it's polished.
I guess if you are, there are some sandals that could work, you know, some that are a little bit more refined or elegant. I would stick to like neutral colors sort of. And if you're going to go, you know, that casual and comfortable, like just make sure you still feel thoughtful. So yeah, like neutral colors, any type of like nudes and black would probably be my recommendation.
And that you can walk in them, because the worst thing is having to like, you know, follow someone around from interview to interview and not be like comfortable walking.
Yeah, and I was gonna say you guys nailed it on what accessories might be too much, but on the guy's side too, yeah, anything that would make you feel like uncomfortable too. You guys said distracting and like noisy and stuff like that, but yeah, if you are putting on a tie and then you're futzing with it and you feel like constrained, like I totally would recommend against that.
Yeah, that's great. And someone asked, do companies specify? I would say no. So it's always good to just ask. For Gap, we always say show your personal style, because our office doesn't have a dress requirement. So we love to see people wearing our brands. We love to see your taste and style in your outfit. Okay, now the final.
Okay, so business professional. This, as we said, is definitely the most formal, and this really is kind of just a traditional suit. I think you can mix and match the suit like we see in the photos. The second woman just has a white button down with a tailored pant, which is totally acceptable. You can kind of mix up what you're wearing underneath. If you do, you know, a polo or a sweater underneath the suit, that could be acceptable, but this truly is kind of the suiting bucket. And then for women also, you can mix and match like a pencil skirt instead of a pantsuit, or even a more fitted sheath dress, very acceptable in business professional. this is, again, the least common in today's offices and more so in really conservative settings. So if you are in accounting, banking, finance, government, that's really a lot of the times where you're going to see full business professional, or if you're, maybe giving a big presentation at a conference, even though your job is not normally sitting in this dress code, in that case, you may need to dress up a little bit more. Tailoring and fit is really critical in business professional, just because you want to make sure you look absolutely your most polished. I would say if you are going to spend money on tailoring, this is the place to do it. Investing just a little bit in a blazer or a pant to make sure that they fit you perfectly can be well worth it, because you'll have that piece for a long time. And then I would also say, within this bucket, it can seem a little bit outdated, but what's exciting is in the market, there actually are a lot of new ways to do suiting. And I think you're going to start seeing more of that. So a lot of new companies and Banana Republic are starting to offer performance fabrics in suiting, with some other kind of performance features that still have the appearance of a traditional suit, but kind of have some cool advantages, more like active wear. So like the fabric's breathable, it's super packable, it's definitely stretchier and more comfortable to wear all day. So that's some exciting innovation actually in this category.
Another thing about this category is like, this is where you can play a little bit with like lengths of things. So for example, someone asked about body types, like depending on what type of denim you like to wear, you can usually translate similar silhouettes into your suiting. So if it's kind of like a slightly flared cut, or you want like a tailored kind of crop, or even like there's kind of like more culotte style like suiting. So there's some variety in terms of what, not as much for men, a little bit more for women, but there's definitely variety in skirt or pant styles, and even the type of blazer, whether it's a little bit more oversized or more fitted. So that's another way to modernize it, is just play with scale a little bit.
Yeah, and I was going to jump in and say, as far as like, now that we've hit sort of like the third bucket here, like as far as events where you would wear each, like the smart casual feels like if you are in a group setting, like, yeah, like a coffee chat, or, like a team meeting, like at school or at work. And then the next click up is if you're maybe, at an interview or having like a one-on-one conversation. And then this last one is if, I think Catherine, you said this, but like if like all eyes are on you, high stakes, like you're presenting to a room, like that's the spectrum in my mind. It's like, as the focus goes more and more like razor focused onto you, like you might want to look like the most polished.
Someone asked, can you be too dressed up for an interview? And like, maybe what are some examples of overdressing?
Yeah, I was thinking that too, because I saw that question. And I think, when we're recruiting and when we're looking at new hires, like something that unfortunately happens is when people try to get into like a business professional mode and sometimes take it like out of season. So like I've seen, we're at the peak of summer, it's really, really hot out. And then people show up in like a black suit with like black full pants, and like, it just feels like a little bit out of season, and then it feels like forced, and then you feel like you don't want to listen to what this person is saying because they're like in a different time zone. And so I think being comfortable, it all goes back to that. So like if you feel like you're overheating, or you tried to layer too many things to look like you thought through it too much, and then it's 100 degrees out, like that sends a not positive message to me. Because we want to hear about what people are saying and the content they're presenting, and not like worry like, oh my gosh, that person's overheating.
Yeah, I agree. And like, I think in terms of being too overdressed for an interview, always ask, because if it's not business professional, my thought is steer clear of this section. Like if you're not required to dress business professional, you might be able to find something more comfortable and more confident in the other sections. This is specifically for Gap, so I don't want to ruin another interview of yours, but I think for Gap, it's like, there's ways to actually do business casual and add still a really professional touch without having to be wearing a 3-piece suit or, fully head to toe business professional. So I think wearing this category when it's an informal setting sometimes almost makes you maybe feel like not yourself, because I doubt this is what you wear every day.
Yeah, I'd also say, I mean, I've never been in a situation where I've judged someone in an interview for feeling too overdressed, but I've definitely had people come in that are very much underdressed. So like, if you're in doubt, I would skew a little bit more dressy. But what has been a problem, kind of to Kirk's point, is like, if people are in a full suit and you can tell that they're very uncomfortable, that starts to distract from what they're saying. And I think you'll even lose confidence if you don't feel comfortable in what you're wearing. But I think that the range between business casual and professional is fully acceptable in most interviews, unless it is specified that you should be in a suit.
And then Megan, since I know you've been over the category of dresses for a long time, would you share what kind of dresses might fit into each category of the three?
I think we'll start with the top. So business professional really would be kind of a very fitted sheath dress, probably just above the knee or below the knee length, something that feels really tailored and is usually in like a kind of menswear inspired pattern or a solid color. So it does feel very like a suit alternative in a dress. I think in business casual and smart casual, you have a lot more flexibility. So business casual, I think a short dress is great. I know a couple people mentioned that. Sweater dresses are always a really easy one that feel a little bit more tailored. And then in smart casual, pretty open. Again, I would just make sure that length and coverage is appropriate. But you definitely get more flexible with dresses in smart casual.
Thank you. All right, let's go into some outfits. So this next section, we're going to chat with you about how to build your professional wardrobe. And I will this is kind of a chance for you guys to see, where do I start? What pieces do I need? How do I build pieces that can work for all three of these categories? And then also how to make it fun. So Kirk will start out talking you through some men's pieces.
Perfect. Okay. And you guys just keep in mind, we've picked the more neutral side of things here, just as if somebody was to plop this product into your closet, it could take you maybe the most places. But definitely, we can call out where it's fun and safe and cool to play with color. I would say, outside of the pieces themselves, like I think we've kind of been hitting on this, but if you're like building a wardrobe, I hope this is coming through. Paramount to your success would be focusing on fit and the fabric and the feel, which are the types of words that we use as we're sorting. So Catherine and I were chatting about this, but if you want to pick something that makes you feel good all around. So if it fits well, if it feels great, and the fabric, again, feels great and looks good, tailored up, like those almost like transcend these silhouettes and pieces. So I just wanted to re-highlight those call outs. But that being said, if somebody was starting a closet from the ground up, literally, I would start with shoes. I think, for men, we get a little bit more creative license here on shoes. I would recommend starting definitely with something like on the right, like a leather-based shoe, and nothing too formal if we're looking for versatility. So nothing like, a wingtip or anything with too many details. I would pick like a clean last, which is like that toe area. And I would strive to find a leather that matches some of your belts. And then we also, are definitely recommending a sneaker. I think as long as you look put together with your sneaker, it can be one of your greatest allies. I think something about, that little touch of casual makes you look approachable, makes it look like you have a little personality. It's a huge trend out there. And I think it just lightens everything up, especially in the men's world where you can get a little dark with the colors and the basics that we tend to gravitate towards. So I would say a great sneaker, hopefully maybe something that's mixed media, like this image here is like a leather mix, and then like a true leather, like workhorse shoe is where I would start. We also are recommending a suit, although that might not be the thing you wear the most. It's kind of that high note that you would have in your wardrobe. at least the blazer portion, you can still match that with definitely a dark denim. The image we chose here is cut with linen. So it's a little bit lighter, and some suits can feel so serious. So I would recommend something, in a heathered or linen blend like gray or blue. That can go all year. Instead of like a black or brown, you might just want at the back half. This can kind of work all year. So we added that in as well. As far as pants, we have here one of our core temp pants, and we put that in specifically. A lot of our menswear has some things that work harder for you, but you might not know it. So these are called core temp. They keep you cool. This is going to sound, maybe crazy, but they have a little bit of a luster, like a little bit of a sheen, and something about that matches really nicely with a sweater that feels a little bit more matte finish, like a little drier against something that has a luster. That is definitely something that feels and looks luxe as you're dressing. And then a denim, like we mentioned, I would, aim towards something in a trimmer fit if you were to only have one. So something that could be dressed up and dressed down. You could wear this definitely with a sneaker, almost sort of with anything. And if it was your first pair where you're building a foundation, I would pick something that was an indigo cast. This one's gorgeous because it's definitely cast in a darker wash, but it has some of that highs in it some of those highs without looking distressed. And I'll go a little quickly. I feel like I'm taking Megan's time, but as far as shirting, we just added one of our non-iron shirts here. We also offer tech shirts. Each of those, the non-iron keeps you wrinkle-free, which is, I think, key just for anyone. And then our tech shirt is antimicrobial, so it's sort of like anti-smell, which I think is great. If you can't feel any difference in the hand feel. And I love a white. I love solid shirts, like a solid navy, solid white. That contrast against like a denim with high-low or a pant with some sheen is like kind of ideal with a white sneaker. And then lastly, I think like the secret weapon for men's dressing, and maybe it's kind of unsung in the men's closet, is a sweater. Somebody asked before, like, how do you do a business professional look if you don't have a blazer yet or a suit yet? I mean, I would recommend, without without overheating, obviously, because I just said that before, but I would recommend like a nice half zip or a V-neck over a shirt. I think definitely in a cleaner yarn like a merino, again, that has a little bit of luster. It's naturally antimicrobial, antibacterial. So that's what we have in our line, in our Italian merino. So I think in the men's world, layering is kind of like a sign that you care, definitely, that you took the time to complete a look. And so this is shown over a tee, but in that setting where you don't have a blazer, if you put a solid V-neck or a solid half zip over a shirt, I feel like that is how you would get around it. And then lastly, I put these accessories here. So I think, a leather backpack is like a little bit like cheeky because it's like luxe, but it like harkens back to a younger vibe. I love that. I think people are walking and biking more now. And so this is something I put in there as you're building your wardrobe. It kind of dresses things up, but it gives a cool kind of younger vibe. And then same with this sock, I think any way you want to show your personality, socks are sort of like the most readily available way. It's not too obvious, but then it's always fun to kind of like sit down and you can kind of see a little pop and it's unexpected. And it doesn't overtake your look either. Nothing that overpowers anything. And lastly, this belt here, I just recommend towards matte finish buckles. This has recycled content in the buckle, so we're reclaiming some of the materials. But I think anything that's too shiny of a metal looks sometimes too dressy, and then it wants to match only certain shoes. So I think something like this, we call it like a denim belt, basically. So something you can wear with denim without feeling like mismatched there. So I think tonal buckles is a win for a wardrobe builder. So I don't know if I took too much time, Megan, but that's what I would recommend for a men's wardrobe.
Thanks so much, Kirk. I think really great ability to show them how to layer, and also kind of how the items all transition from potentially a summer to a fall to a spring. The other thing I wanted to share with everyone is, so we will be sending out links to all this product at the end, and this whole collection of items is actually during a time when we're 50% off, which we have a friends and family coming up, is only $500 for all of these items. So I think huge win in terms of being affordable and starting out your wardrobe. This is by no means a sales pitch to go buy product. We just wanted to share with you kind of how affordable starting this wardrobe can actually be. Okay, Megan, take it away with women's.
Okay, so jumping into women's, similar thing here. These are really like your base pieces, and then on top of these, you can layer, you know, more styles to show your personality. Also, these can go in a full range of color. I see a lot of questions about wearing color, which I think is amazing. You can translate all of these pieces into more colorful items. But the first two pieces I would recommend for women is definitely pants. And having a great pair of denim if you do have a more casual or business casual environment, as well as a great black pant. So I think leg shape, you should choose what makes you feel the most comfortable. Here we have a slim denim, which can actually feel a little bit more professional than like a skinny fitted denim. And then a flare pant, which again feels kind of a little bit more dressed up and polished, but you can go anywhere from a skinny to a wide leg, whatever makes you feel the most comfortable and the most flattering on you. For denim, I think I said this earlier, but I would add just making sure you do kind of more of a medium to a dark wash. That's going to be the most versatile. And I would stay away from too much destruction or added kind of topical details on the denim. You'll want it to be as clean as possible. The second piece I added on here is you'll actually need a kind of a good range of layering pieces. So this is a bodysuit, but you could do bodysuits, tanks, long sleeve, just so that you have a couple of easy knits that you can layer under anything from blazers to dresses to make sure that you feel like you have enough coverage. Just a small plug for Banana Republic. We do have our True Hues collection of underpinnings, which actually matches the full band of skin tones, which is amazing. So that is actually a big highlight. And a great essential to have for under all of these pieces. And then footwear for women, I would recommend having one pair of flats that you love. This little pointy toe is great because the toe point makes it feel a little bit more dressed up. And then doing it in a neutral color like a black or a navy, something that you can wear with a multitude of items, as well as a kind of power heel, but something that is going to make you feel comfortable that you can wear all day long. These are like 12-hour pumps, so you can feel comfortable in them all day. And then added in a little necklace here. I think having some hit of jewelry, whether it's a necklace or an earring, can make you feel just a little bit like you have a finishing touch on. I saw a question about dressing to impress during a Zoom interview. I think either having some hit of jewelry on your neck or your earrings can make you just have a little bit extra sparkle in the Zoom interview. And then this yellow wrap top, love this color. I think this is actually a beautiful color on, again, a full range of skin tones, but also on Zoom, it shows up really beautifully. But I would add in, having several really great go-to blouses that you can dress up back to more tailored pants and a blazer, but you can also just throw on with jeans to give you a full range of versatility. And then the white shirt, I think this is an essential for everyone's wardrobe. And white shirts can come in, a ton of different fabrics of different sizes. Personally, I love a little bit more of an oversized white shirt back to jeans or skinny pants for a smart casual or a business casual environment, and then having a more tailored white shirt for a business professional environment to layer under a blazer if you need. And then shirt dresses we talked about earlier, but I think that's kind of the perfect go-to dress for an office environment. So we love this one. It feels, perfect for summer, but again, as an item you could actually layer over like a long sleeve sweater or a turtleneck to take it into fall and holiday. And then a great tote bag. I think more than ever now, as we are working from all different places, having a good tote bag is super critical because you always need to have your computer with you. You need to have your charger. So having a bag that you can throw everything in and be on the go is very, very critical. And then last piece on here is a blazer. I would just recommend having a third piece that you completely love, whether that's a blazer if you are in a more formal environment, or an outerwear piece that you can layer on in winter or as things get cold in the office. What's great about a blazer is, again, you can throw it on with the jeans, but if you just put it back to black pants on here, it looks like you're in a full suit. So it's kind of a DIY suit option. And then
sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say, I saw a question about a leather jacket, which I think is a good question. I think leather jackets are appropriate for sure in a smart casual environment. I think in a business casual environment, it would be more of like a to from item. And then similarly with the styling of the leather jacket, I would lean towards something more classic and clean versus like a full biker jacket.
And to touch on your answer about the Zoom, how to show up well on Zoom, I think color and jewelry, definitely agree. Also, like, step number one is like, get some good lighting. Like, if you don't have good lighting in your apartment, like, put a lamp facing you, because no one can see your outfit if you don't have the right lighting. So I think, like, give yourself an advantage so that they can see your face and see your lighting. If you don't like your background, this is a fake background, you just throw it in. So that's some really easy, like, low-hanging fruit on terms of looking good on Zoom.
And then,
go ahead, Megan.
Oh, Caroline just asked about blazers in more of a heathered material. I think completely, you don't have to have a traditional suit blazer. I think an item blazer actually nowadays is very acceptable, and you can mix and match that over a dress or back to jeans or pants. So yeah, I think blazers are kind of open-ended. I would start your base wardrobe with something more neutral, but then I love layering on top of that other materials. And cardigans are a good equivalent to blazers, yes.
All right, you guys both, I'll have you kind of partner, since this slide shares items from both your worlds. Let's talk about kind of how to build a kind of gender neutral wardrobe.
Yeah, I mean, I can kick off, from what we see in our sales. We have some product that we show to both genders and design into them that way. There's kind of a cool groundswell movement towards that. What we see that kind of pulls to the top is definitely starts with the fit. So in the tops world, I can start with the shapes are generally more relaxed. These two here have a drop shoulder. Sometimes the length is longer. This t-shirt has a front tuck, and this sweater isn't dropped, but I think you can play with length. And I think the secret to success for any girls or anyone that wants to start to dabble in the other side of clothing or in gender neutral clothing, I think, yeah, like an eased up shoulder, or it's called a raglan shape. So instead of a set-in sleeve, it's kind of cut this way. And that causes it to look less boxy on a woman because it drapes. And it's cool on a guy too. So we always start there. And then I'll just say one more thing about the shoes. I mean, I think sneakers are fair game for everyone, everywhere. We offer an immense range of shoes on our site. So sometimes we'll reveal a couple colors that feel right on the women's side and style them that way. And they always pop to the top when we do that. So I think if you are willing and able to dabble in this type of dressing, it's definitely out there. Megan, I don't know if you want to touch on the jumpsuits.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so we added in a couple jumpsuits here, which I'm a huge jumpsuit proponent. But we've actually had a lot of success with this first one, which is a gender neutral jumpsuit, and just like super relaxed, easy fit. These are probably something that skews a little bit more casual, but again, you can dress them up with the right shoe. I actually love the scarf that's on here just to add some interest. And then again, I think the importance of a white shirt in anyone's wardrobe is so huge, and it's kind of an essential, versatile piece. So that one is a great cross-gender piece. And the last thing on here actually is the blazer, which is a sweater blazer. So similarly has a drop shoulder and just it has a little bit more of a relaxed feel for anyone.
Yeah, and I mean that could be an open cardigan too. Like anything
Yeah.
that just like sort of just hangs a bit more is generally fair game. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. So we did get a question on the average budget to create the wardrobe. So like I said earlier, all of these three different kind of vision boards of different outfits are all around $500 during our 50% off that's coming up in a few weeks. So I think the one thing I'll caveat is you might need to spend slightly more than that because in tops, you'll just want a couple different sweaters, maybe a couple different shirts. So you're not exhausting the single shirt, especially if you're going to work every day. But for interviews, I think this could get you through kind of an interviewing season, or even through a few professional events. And then once you kind of get into the professional world, you can start to double up on those things like maybe a couple more bottoms, a couple more blazers, and a couple more tops. Someone asked, how does business casual change depending on the time of day? Do you guys have thoughts on that?
I mean, probably the biggest change is, you know, if you have a third piece on, if you have a blazer or a jacket, like throughout the day, you'll probably take that off just as the weather warms up. But otherwise, I think it stays pretty consistent. I think if you have an evening meeting, you would probably want to go a little bit dressier. Maybe that's where you wear heels or darker colors. But otherwise, I don't think it's too time of day specific.
Yeah, and I guess I'm thinking of the men's world, it's definitely like a little bit more tied to season. So like, I mean, I definitely would have lighter based shirting on, and then our fabrications would all kind of trade out into the things that would keep you more cool. So Oxford stitches, linen shirts, polos, and then yeah, as you move into a different season, you would layer up and then change your yarns and your fabrics and your colors. But as far as time of day, I guess it's like, yeah, if you had like a very late meeting, I would definitely, it's almost like you take, like Megan said, you would probably take your cardigan off later. But then if you had a very late meeting, you'd put it right back on. And if you're, if you were going to go to like a dinner meeting or something, I think the later the meeting, sometimes slightly the more dressed up you are, just because it's probably implying that you'll go to a dinner or something like that. But it's not the biggest difference for us.
Okay, so I'll move into just showing some just outfits. Many of these are actually from our It's Banana hashtag online. So if you guys want inspiration, it's a great place to go. I think, you know, showing your personal style and kind of building outfits. So I'll just let you guys kind of talk through some favorites on here if there's anything that stands out to you.
Yeah. I mean, I see so many questions.
And we can start to answer questions too. Yeah.
I was gonna say there's so many about like color and pattern and print, and I think all of those are absolutely acceptable and encouraged. We kind of were showing you guys like baseline essentials, which is why you didn't see much color or pattern in there. But I think that the photos of all of these people actually like helps that really come to life. They're all having a lot of fun with their suits. I love the pattern suit. I love the man in the bottom right-hand corner in the blue suit. So I think this really shows you how you take those essential pieces and kind of add your personality and flair to them.
Thanks, Megan. Yeah, like I think, you know, there's like the monochromatic look, like that's definitely showing personal style there. You know, this girl on the upper right is wearing a necklace. I think, you know, there's some bolder accessories like a clutch, which could work for like a networking event when you're in smart casual. So a nice easy shirt dress that would work in the summer for a smart casual or business casual event. Here, let's go to the next page to show you some more. See a lot of men doing the t-shirt and blazer combo, which I think also works for kind of smart casual / business casual.
Yeah, and I was just noticing too the footwear for the guys. And I guess if you go to the slide before, like,
oh yeah,
it really is that like, you know, like the leather option and then like a sneaker option. And I think I mean, it goes without saying that it's trending to show a little ankle. I mean, it just shows that you're kind of cooled up a little bit, that you're thinking about looking eased up. I mean, the most obvious and dressiest things that were the first to go were, you know, kind of like ties and overtly serious blazers and things like that. And then I think like the final evolution is like, you know, getting a ped sock on and just showing like a little bit extra ankle there. It sounds funny, but it makes you look a little eased up.
Someone asked what's the best way to find your style. And I think the exercise we did at the beginning, like think about where you felt most confident and not most confident and build on that. Like, was it the fit? Was it the fabric? Was it the color? What made you feel confident, and start to kind of think about what are those pieces and how they can translate into something that we showed you today.
I think I'm so glad you stressed that, Catherine, because like once you figure out like the recipe for you, it's kind of like creates a short little menu for you that you can keep returning to if you like. So if you know that you look great in like jewel tones or maroons and stuff, it's like you're creating like a construct that when you see those types of clothes, you should probably try to shop them because you know they work for you.
Are pattern buttons down too flashy for women?
I don't think so. I think that's one, like, again, I would get a read on the work environment. I'm personally wearing a head to toe pattern jumpsuit today. So personally, I think it's great. But if you are in an office that feels like a little bit more subtle and formal, then I probably wouldn't do, you know, overt pattern. But otherwise, I think it's definitely encouraged and such a great way to show your personality.
Awesome. Okay, thank you guys so much for joining us today. And I hope everyone was able to get a good grasp on kind of how to start to build the wardrobe. So as a way to help you guys, I think we're going to send out all of the links to these items, so you can kind of take a look at what might work for you. And, you know, you can find a similar silhouette in different types of fabrications. Kirk talked a lot about like linen blends. I think we talked about stretch and performance. So think about what, you know, you feel most comfortable in, and then you can start to kind of veer towards which fabrics you gravitate towards or which ones suit your body type. And with that, I will, so I'll follow up to all our attendees with an email after this. It should come in the next couple of days. And I just wanted to say thank you to all of you for attending, and thank you to Kirk and Megan. You guys did an awesome job. You are the best dressed, which is why I reached out to both of you. And I hope everyone learned a lot today. If you have questions, I'm just going to type our college recruiting email into the chat box, just so you could reach out if there's anything that you didn't get out of today that you need to know. All right, guys.
Thank you all so much.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Good luck interviewing and getting dressed.
Oh yeah, and then I guess my final plug is we have career opportunities galore for you. So I will also send the link to our Gap Inc. college website, so you guys can explore our internship opportunities for juniors and then our full-time opportunities for seniors. So thank you, everyone. And I will send that right now. Let me just pull it up. Okay. There you guys go. You can check out that website. Oops, I'm only sending that to the panelists. Sorry. Here we go. Okay. All right, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Have a great rest of your day.